What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I got something a little different planned today, first of its kind for the channel. I'm going to be reviewing all 6 Scream movies leading up to Scream 7, and of course I'll review that too when it releases. Now, just as a quick point of reference, I've seen the first one at the time of doing this video 3 times. I just finished watching it like literally 10 minutes before doing this video, so it's obviously fresh on my mind. 2 through 4 I've seen only once, and then 5 and 6 because I watched the first 4 during COVID, and for whatever reason I never went and saw 5 and 6 in theaters. Never watched those, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking those out in particular because I've never seen them and I've heard really great things about them. But before I get started here, one other thing that I want to point out is going to be that this is going to be a spoiler-filled review for this movie as well as all Scream films except the 7th one. I'll probably not spoil the 7th one because that'll be a new release, but for the first 6, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back and let's get started. And right off the bat, this is an immaculate film. In my opinion, it's one of my personal favorites, or favorite horror movies, right up there with Nightmare on Elm Street, which is ironic because both this and the Nightmare on Elm Street film is directed by Wes Craven. And yeah, I mean, it's overall honestly a perfect film. I don't have a lot to say in terms of negativity about it, but I do think the performances in this are probably some of the best performances of any horror movie, or honestly any slasher movie. We'll play it conservatively for now, but Neve Campbell, I mean, she's definitely the best final girl of pretty much any movie. I mean, Laurie Strode, there's a case to be made for Laurie Strode and the Halloween franchise, but to me, I think Sidney, played by Neve Campbell, just absolutely knocks it out of the park with these films, at least in the original film. I'll at least say that. She brings such a element of she has the charisma that I think a lot of other final girls tend to lack, but she's also instantly very charming, very likable. You can tell Neve Campbell's playing her heart out in this role. Like, she really is just enjoying the time that she's playing this character, as well as in the future sequels, which I'll get to those obviously in the next couple weeks. But she seems to love this franchise, and it really shows in her performance, both again here and in the future. And also, I gotta talk about arguably the second best character, maybe even the best character in the movie in terms of just performance, Matthew Lillard as Stu. And if you guys have seen the film, which if you made it this far, I'm assuming you have, obviously Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich, I hope I'm saying his name right, as Stu and Billy respectively. They're obviously the killers. Big reveal, I know, but hopefully you've seen the movie if you're watching this far, like I said. And Matthew Lillard, I think both he and Skeet Ulrich, just incredible. I mean, almost, you could argue, like the last 10 or 15 minutes, they give borderline Oscar-worthy performances. And I mean, they're great all throughout, but when they're revealed as the killers, I'll tell you what, it's like something out of an Oscar-winning performance for both of them. It's incredible, they're terrifying, they're just purely unhinged. I've always said when it comes to movie antagonists, the best way, really the only 2 ways you make a great villain, either make him a tragic, almost relatable villain, or you make them so irredeemably evil and just demented that you want to see them dead or whatever, the movie has in store. You want to see justice brought pretty much no matter what, and vengeance, whatever you want to call it. And the latter definitely applies to these characters. They're just evil, they're malicious. You kind of get led along to believing that it's other people, which I'll get to that as another positive here in a second. But when it's revealed, I mean, it puts the whole movie in a different light. And again, just amazing performances from both of those incredible actors. And kind of going off of that, I do think the opening of this movie, there's a lot of you can't review a Scream movie without mentioning the very subversive and opening sequence, one of the best probably in cinematic history, at least in my opinion. I mean, Drew Barrymore, I'm a 2000s kid, so I was born like November 2000. So I didn't grow up in the 90s, but I do know that Drew Barrymore at the time was a very popular actress. So a lot of people thought she was going to be like the final girl, or at least one of the main characters of this movie. And so when she gets killed off in the first 5 minutes, it's just, not only is the scene itself very tense, very eerie, and just very unnerving all around, but it also just comes off feeling like you've been subverted in the best of ways, to where you're like, oh wow, like really nobody's safe in this movie. And that's one of the things that I think this film does extremely well, just all throughout, but especially in that opening sequence. And kind of going back to what I said earlier, I think this playing on the whole audience perception of the slasher genre was just something that really worked in its favor, because there's always the kind of fake out moments of a horror slasher movie where it's kind of like, oh, there's the killer, or you think so-and-so, well, it's not even like horror slasher, it's like a mystery movie in general, but, you know, who's the killer, and it kind of takes you for a loop. But this movie does it so well that it really just plays on your perception. Like, just when viewers think they have it figured out, the Wes Craven and the writers just keep throwing curveballs and smoke screens to the audience, so you really don't know, and you really have no idea of knowing for sure until like the final 10 or 15 minutes when the reveal has actually occurred. And chances are, even if you guessed one, you definitely didn't guess two people. So it's just, again, really well crafted, well written, one of the best written slasher films, maybe the best written slasher film of all time, in my opinion. But kind of going off of to one of the biggest things this film is known for is really just satirizing the horror slasher genre, but it finds a way to do it in a way to where it doesn't delve into becoming a full-on parody of itself. If you want a full parody of this, go watch the first Scary Movie. It's a parody of this film. Great movie in its own right. I might even review that leading up to the new Scary Movie. We'll see how this does before I make that decision. But it takes itself, Scream takes itself, I should say, just as seriously as Halloween or a fellow Wes Craven film, which I kind of mentioned earlier, Nightmare on Elm Street. It takes itself just as seriously as those films, but it also uses the existence of horror movies or just cliche genre tropes in general to tell its story, which I think is very interesting because, you know, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, I mean, New Nightmare kind of did this, I guess, and that was kind of the precursor to Scream in a lot of ways, if you guys didn't know. But definitely with the majority of those films, horror movies aren't really referenced, they're not really talked about. Here it fully leans into horror movies exist, Halloween exists, people know about these slashers like Freddy Krueger, Jason, and the like, and so they kind of use that to tell the story in a new, fresh, and interesting way, which is really, really awesome in my opinion. And yeah, just, I mean, there's not a lot else that I could say about this movie. It's just a perfect slasher film in my opinion. I think if you are a fan of Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, anything, I mean, if you just watch the scary movies, like that alone, I mean, if you have any interest in this genre, you're going to love this movie. I think it's one of those few films that each time I watch it, I try to find something I don't like about it. And look, I'm sure you can nitpick a film if you watch it enough, but I've seen the film 3 times, couldn't tell you one thing that I genuinely just didn't like about it. I couldn't even nitpick something. It's really just a perfect film. It's written well. The mystery aspect keeps you engaged. It's definitely bloody, so, you know, you definitely, if you're pretty squeamish, I mean, it's not the bloodiest film ever. I don't think it's as bloody as some people make it out to be, but if you are on the more squeamish side, you may not like it, but that's the only kind of people that I could imagine not appreciating it. And even then, I think you'll appreciate it on terms of just the merits of being a film, especially if you are a film buff like myself. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect film. It might be my favorite horror film of all time. Like I said, it kind of goes between Nightmare on Elm Street and this original Scream movie, but it's also probably in my top 20 favorite films of all time. It's just excellent all around, and I recommend you guys giving it a watch. But that's all I got for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments down below, what do you all think of the original Scream? Are you old enough that you went and saw this in theaters? I always love hearing people's experiences of watching a film in theaters and kind of seeing how they enjoyed or maybe even didn't enjoy it. So whatever it is, just comment down below, guys. Let me know what you thought about the film, and as always, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and I will catch you all later.